Thank you. My friends, Shabbat Shalom. Tonight we're joined by a guest speaker. It's my pleasure to introduce Eric Adler, who is a dedicated educator and Jewish community leader. He's been teaching for a long time in Ventura County and is currently an 8th grade teacher at Valley View Middle School in Simi Valley. Additionally, he's the faculty advisor for the school's Jewish Student Union, where he helps guide and inspire students in exploring their Jewish identity, culture, and community. It's my pleasure to call up Eric to talk tonight about the situation of Jews in our public schools.
What an honor to be here. This is my second time speaking to, is this on? Yeah. We're good? My second time speaking to this congregation. Is it at all possible that any of you were here 20 years ago for my first? Yes. 1, 2, nice. Wow, look at that. Awesome. So there's really, something special in this congregation. I've spoken to many congregations close by and not so close by, and I've been trying to come back here for a while, so what an honor. And what a blessing to have Rabbi Rosner here, keeping the tradition going. Rabbi Pascal's father, Shimon, bar mitzvahed me at Chaim. 1979. So, the tradition continues. So, tonight's presentation will probably take the form of a little more audience participation than you may be used to. And thank you in advance for whatever level of participation you're comfortable with. And we're going to start with 1 to 10s, just kind of visual representation of kind of how we're feeling. So for the entirety of the speech, we're going to start by talking about the temperature. Then we'll get into what Jewish student unions are all about. And then we'll end with talking a little bit about turtles. So let's start with the temperature, and we'll go with 1 to 10. And just how are we all feeling just right now, 1 to 10? 1, are we too cold? 10, are we too hot? 5, are we Goldilocks just right? Hold it up, let's see how we're feeling. 1 too cold, 10 too hot. And look around, just kind of see how we're all feeling. Just right now, temperature-wise. Rabbi, get a little look at your AC situation maybe and see where things are going. All right. Now let's consider a different level of temperature. For Jewish students in our public schools. 10, super safe. 1, not safe at all, somewhere in the middle. Go ahead, let's see it. Where are we at? How are we feeling? What you heard, what you've heard from your children, what you hear in the news, how do you think things are going? Look around, take a look. And most importantly, let's take a look at the students and the numbers way up high, if you're students. Let's take a look at the numbers our students are putting up there. Now last one, 1 to 10. Just in general, our general level of day-to-day Jewish existence. How often are you experiencing any level of anti-Semitism? 1, never. 10, all the time. Somewhere in the middle. Let's see it. How are we feeling right now about just general levels of anti-Semitism that you yourself are experiencing? Take a look around. See how your congregation is feeling. I don't know if I'm blocking the rabbi. So, Jewish student unions exist as a way to reduce that number. Before we consider where we're at right now in general levels of, how's that? You good still? You can still see? General levels of kind of anti-Semitism in the schools, we have to look at a bigger picture. And we have to consider how racism has existed in America, how it's risen, fallen, risen at times, and we'll start, as it connects to our schools, with the law that ended racism and segregation in our schools, and that was Brown versus the Board of Education in 1954. Brilliant congregation. Love it. 54, right? So done deal. Passed the law, and racism is over in our country. We pass laws, we change laws, we have to now change people's minds. A little tougher, perhaps. So 1954, the federal law comes, schools are desegregated. All schools, right away? No. A process, right? All right, next date. When was the last American school desegregated in our country? Who's got a guess?
I don't think it's happened yet.
Take a guess. Well, federally mandated, the last school to be, the court determined, oh, this school is still segregated, and let's hear some dates.
60s?
How about a date?
92. You want November
92, 60s? Please. Well, we can debate that if it's happened in reality, but there was one last school that kind of held on like grim death against desegregation. Any other guesses? We heard 92. We heard 61, I think. Any other guesses?
85.
85. We're getting kind of higher-ish. East Side High School in Mississippi was the last American school to be legally desegregated in 2017. A typical shocking response from every congregation that I presented to. How does this happen? Legal delays, tactics, court orders that are ignored in far removed pockets of our country, and what comes to be true far more often than not is that the local is far more important than the federal. And we see that now with various groups taking over school boards, as we hear about far and wide. Racism in our country is a sorely undertaught subject. And when we hear people claiming that teaching it to our students is painful and teaches them to feel bad about being white, it's a tough argument. We hear these arguments. General racism is overt in our history. Visual, obvious, Klan robes, cross burnings, visceral images. Then Charlottesville happened. And that was a tipping point for anti-Semitism in our country. Whatever your politics are in this room, and certainly there's a wide range among Jews in 2025. There's no denying that anti-Semitism became normalized at a different level during Charlottesville. Hundreds, pretty well-dressed people, remember the brown khakis? They stood and marched not with robes and not with masks and pointed white hats, but fully visible, chanting, "Jews will not replace us. Jews will not replace us." And it became a turning point. That normalization continues today, and our response to growing anti-Semitism has become so accepted and such a part of our fabric that we barely notice it. I drove in today and had a nice little chat with our security guard at the entrance to the parking lot. Did you notice it? Did you look at him?
Yes.
This is not a rent-a-cop with a taser. Fully loaded weapon. Do we think twice about it? We have a security guard with a gun protecting the entrance to our shul. Did we have that when we were younger? When did that start? 10 years ago?
The bigger temples was even further back.
No question. What does it mean when our young people see an armed security guard as we drive into the shul? And there's so many levels of it. It's not cheap. Where else could that money have gone? Not only that, we lock the door to the shul when services start. And there's a sign on the front of the door about late arrivers having to call to get in. Why does that exist? Is it another level of security? If by chance the security guard at the entrance to the parking lot is not able to stop an intruder? What does it really mean that we're locking the door to our shul? Did we experience that when we were young and going to temple? Things got even worse for our Jewish students in the schools after October 7th. And bullying Jewish students became almost trendy, almost overnight. How did it happen? How did students who used to bully someone over their shirt, their shoes, the way they talked, how did they suddenly start to target Jewish students? How did they get radicalized? Where did it start? Any guesses of where it started? Where is it happening? Where are young people getting radicalized to bully Jewish students? Please, online where specifically? Online where specifically? Definitely online. Specifically where online? That the young people are, please.
Social media?
It's pretty big on social media. It's pretty accurate and active on social media, but you have to go to it. You have to but where are the experiences get more directly? Say it, please.
Academia.
Video game chat rooms. Our video game chat rooms have become cesspools of radicalization for easily manipulated young people. Did the overtness of Charlottesville transfer immediately to the schools? The video game chat rooms are far more subversive. And when a young person enjoying their video game is now suddenly sent a link to a senator writing about Jewish space lasers causing forest fires, the level of legitimacy is instant. Well, if my senator's saying it, it must be true. Again, whatever your politics are, let's not fool ourselves about what the facts are. The bullying started after October 7th, not overtly, as our black students and Hispanic students and Japanese students have experienced for decades, but much more subtly. It's the whisper in the back of the classroom. It's the folded note anonymously put into the locker. This is what our students are dealing with. How do we counter it? What do we want when the bullies are caught saying the anti-Semitic slur to the Jewish student, writing the anti-Semitic note? Most people want action, strong action. We want suspensions, expulsions. We want severe consequences for these bullies. Please.
What about education?
But I said academia.
Right here. Please, of course. Of course. Of course. What comes of a suspension and a consequence for the bullying student? Do they suddenly realize the error in their ways, the flaw? Do they suddenly come to realize that anti-Semitism is wrong? Unlikely. Much more likely, they see the Jewish student as the cause of their consequence, and the anti-Semitism increases. We want action. We want serious consequences for anti-Semitic students in our schools. We want to fight fire with fire. Fighting fire with fire, most of the time, burns everything down. Jewish student unions take a different approach. We fight fire with water. We temper and educate the anti-Semitic students to understand what they're doing and what they're dealing with. What does the water look like? All sorts of different things. And I'll give you some examples in a moment. Taking a softer approach is a tough thing for people to hear. It's like we're letting them off the hook. Most of the time, these students have no idea what kind of hook they're on. Their level of radicalization is so strong and so pervasive. What does it look like? Sometimes it looks like donuts. Jewish students at Jewish student union events pass out hundreds of donuts to the entire school population. Suddenly, the radicalized student, who most likely had really never had any interaction with a Jewish student in their entire life, is being handed a donut by a Jewish student. And now they're talking about Taylor Swift. And now they're talking about Fortnite. And now they're talking about their favorite football team. And the ability for the hatred that manifested in the bullying to dissolve from that donut is a sight to behold. It dissolves almost as quickly as the sugar on that donut falling into that water that we are using. How can we help? What can we do? We can get involved. You can volunteer at your local schools. You can coordinate with Jewish faculty and parents. We currently have 2 active Jewish student unions in Simi Valley. I'm blessed to run the Jewish Student Union at Valley View Middle School. Royal High School is now in their 2nd year. The great Nicole Malone is leading the Royal High School Jewish Student Union. We need more. Support from our national office has been phenomenal. The funding's there. They provide kosher pizza for our meetings, just our, not the ones where we're handing out donuts to the whole school, but just the ones for the Jewish students. And you don't have to be Jewish, of course, to attend the meetings. The regional director, the national director actually, sends the pizza from Woodland Hills, Pacific Kosher in Woodland Hills. He Ubers it to Simi Valley. I often wonder, like, what is the Uber driver thinking when they show up to the restaurant? Instead of picking up a passenger, they're picking up a stack of pizzas. I ran Jewish student unions in Santa Cruz, California, decades ago for different reasons, and that's a different conversation. Today, it's a more pressing need for visibility and for fighting back against growing anti-Semitism in our schools by fighting that fire with water. Advisors for most clubs are prominent in our schools. Advisors for our origami club and basketball club and art club and you know, anything under the sun are prominent. Jewish student unions are not. Same with their counterparts, the Teens for Christ clubs, which have kind of ebbed and flowed over the year. We have to kind of take a back seat. We do not accept and are not really allowed any sort of funding for the stipends for advisors that all the other clubs get. Parents and students do a good amount of the work. We've seen these memes floating around that say, what would you be doing during the rise of fascism? And you're doing it right now. Again, whatever your politics are, there's no denying our situation and the facts. We've got an armed security guard at the parking lot entrance, and we're locking the door. What are we protecting ourselves from? We can't deny the facts. We recently had our first day of school, and the first day of school is an interesting time. The students are buzzing, they're talking, what's resonating, what's the news? Is it the Barbie movie? Are they talking about it? Is it Taylor Swift? Is it the latest video game? No, not this year. What were they talking about on the first day of school this year? Any guesses? Please.
Ice rings.
Say it again.
Ice rings.
Ice, huge, and something else. Another incident. Here's your hint.
Shooting.
Please.
In one of the schools, they had to put a Israeli flag
Oh, yeah.
on the premises.
Oh, yeah.
But not the state flag or the federal flag.
For sure. Yeah, more kind of isolated. Ice raids for sure, and?
Shooting.
It wasn't a shooting. Another incident, please.
What about the assault at the
At the Regal. They are up in arms about it. The students today, the Regal incident,
about a month ago?
there was an attack of a young black student by some students at the Regal movie theater. It was national news. We made, once again, Simi made national news. The former safest city in the country, once again, made national news. What's the takeaway from that as an educator? This is my 40th year in the classroom. They're not talking about the Barbie movie. They're not talking about the big Luka Doncic trade. They're talking about the violent racist attack, and they're talking about the ice raids. What's the takeaway? It's tragic. It's a shame that they're focused on it. But it's inspirational for me as an educator to see our students focused and motivated and responding to these incidents in powerful ways and rallying around their classmates. The student who got attacked, recent graduate from Simi High, was overwhelmed with support from his classmates. And the students who did the attacking were quickly pariahed. I don't know if I just made up a word. Our students are aware and motivated. What are you doing during the rise of fascism? You're doing it right now. We're all doing it every single day right now. The Sanderson family is here. This is Levi and Avalon. They're students at my school. Thrilled that you're here. I found out today, or yesterday? Today, that you'd be here. You're kind of at a time in your life when it might be starting to come clear to you that Jews are built a little different. There's something about us that's a little different. We seem to be on a bit more of a mission than other people. And this is nothing new. The mission existed when we escaped from slavery in Egypt. and it continued throughout the centuries. You two, Levi and Avalon, don't know me very well. We've shared some games, we've eaten some pizza, we've hung out a little bit. Know tonight that our mission is entirely about you two, in every way. And the world we want for you, everyone in this room wants for you, when you move to high school, when you go on to college, when you raise your own families. That mission continues tonight and hopefully after this Labor Day weekend, when some of you will connect with our schools and put our hopes and our words into action. Now the deep stuff is over. Now let's talk about turtles. Who would like to come up? Any young people in the room want to come up and talk about turtles for a second? What a great surprise. Levi, please. And an amazing biblical name. Is this one on, Rabbi? Check, check. Almost? All right, I'll give you that.
They're both on.
Is it on? Yeah. Okay, come on. All right, Levi.
Yay, Levi!
Give it up on time. Levi. All right. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you. Here's the turtle, right? Okay. Describe for us what the turtle looks like when it's resting.
It's in its shell.
A little louder. He's what?
The turtle's in its shell.
Okay, Levi says when the turtle's resting, the turtle is in its shell. Is there movement when the turtle is resting?
Yeah.
There's movement? How is it moving when it's resting?
Blinking.
Okay, sure, it is still blinking. The turtle's still alive. Incredibly not blurry at all picture of the turtle. Great. All right. So, any other movement besides the blinking?
No.
Nothing going on. When the turtle is at rest, the turtle is not moving. Tell us about the turtle's head right now. How does the turtle's head look when it's resting?
It's kind of tucked into its shell a little bit.
Levi says, when the turtle is resting, the turtle's head is tucked into its shell. Now let's talk about how the turtle looks when it's moving.
Its head is way more out of the shell.
Levi says, when it's moving, its head is more out of its shell. How does the turtle, Levi, get its head out of its shell?
It moves its muscles and joints to get it out, I guess.
Using which part of its body?
Its neck.
Say it again.
His neck.
And what does it do with its neck?
Moves it out of the shell.
Levi says that for the turtle to move and the turtle to make progress, it has to stick its neck out. This time has come for all of us to spend a little more time sticking our necks out. Shabbat shalom.